Hello, my little psychos, and welcome to horror reaction. For this horror reaction, we're going to be telling some ghost stories. Two of these ghost stories are real. They are my account and one other person's account. The third ghost story, I am not sure if it's real or not. It's not mine, but the person has given me permission to talk about it, so I will be telling it. I'm only telling three because I think the first one's kind of long. Yeah, so we'll see. Also, a fair warning, it's going to be a little bit brighter in the next one just so that you can see my face. Because this doesn't really provide a lot of light. But I wanted to have the beginning and the end be a little more so. Yes, I just wanted to warn you that there's going to be a bright light. I hope you enjoy the video, and I will see you at the end. So now that we're here, let's get right into it. First story that I'm going to tell you happened to me a long time ago when I was living in the first house I lived in, when it was just me and my friend used to like go exploring a lot outside in the back. Like there's like a pond area and some like abandoned like horse trailers. We used to like hang out in that area and roam around like kids do. And one horse trailer we went into, my friend started getting this really creepy like vibe, like something was watching her or someone was in there with us, and she kept telling me, there's someone in there, there's someone in there. And I was like, no, there's nobody in there, it's abandoned. There's not even animals in here. We had flashlights, all of that stuff. So she just was so persistent that there was somebody in the horse trailer. So me being the brave one, I decided to go in. So I went in and I didn't see anything. Didn't see anyone, didn't see any critters. There was nothing in there. It was abandoned, yes, but there was no traces of mice or rats or coyotes or anything. She was so persistent on this. So we left because we didn't think there was anything there. Or I didn't think anything was there. She did. This was before I was a believer, so I was a skeptic actually at one point. So this story takes place when I was a skeptic and I didn't really believe and I didn't, know that I had medium powers. So we went back to my house because we were having a sleepover. We were in our like living room, and our living room used to be like elevated on stilts. We used to have this door that led to, there was no staircase, it was just a door. Just led to the backyard. It had no staircase, so you kind of just open the door and you look down from the stilted area. That's where our like living room was. We were hanging out in there, and it was later that night. It was around, I would say it was around like midnight at this point. I was little, but sleepovers, you stay up whatever time. So we were in the living room talking, getting ready to finally go to sleep for the night, when my friend swore. She started hearing wailing, and she at first thought, my friend thought the wailing was La Llorona, which is a folktale or an urban legend. I don't really know much about it, so I'm not gonna tell the story because I don't want to get it wrong. So she thought it was that, and I was like, it's just an animal probably wandering. I live by a river. I was like, it's probably just an animal wandering by the river. We're inside the house is locked. It would be kind of interesting for something to get in. But yeah, so she thought it was La Llorona. I said, we're fine. It's outside. Our doors are locked. Nothing's gonna come get us. We're fine. Parents were in the house. I was like, let's just settle down and try to go to sleep, because my skeptical brain was like, this is nothing. It's probably just an animal. Go to sleep. And then I wake up around like 1, 2 in the morning because I heard something outside. This is where the door that leads to nowhere comes in. To get water, so I was thirsty and I was already up, so I was like, why not? We'll just do something to distract myself, and I did that. And when I came back into the stilted living room, I looked straight out the door that leads to nowhere, because we had like flags covering the other door. There was no curtains, so we had flags, and we didn't have anything yet for the door of nowhere. So I was looking out the glass panes, because it was like divided long windows with the many squares. So I was looking out towards the backyard where the pond sits. So there was like grass and then pond. And I was looking out, and the moon was kind of out, but not really. And I saw a shadow standing next to a tree. It was a shadow of something. I don't know. I couldn't make out if it was a man or a woman, but I could make out it was a silhouette. I couldn't make out like gender or facial features, but I could see like a silhouette of a person standing by a tree. And my first thought was, oh, it's probably a bear. That's another story, but I'm not going to tell that one. That's not my story. That was my first thought, was, oh, it's a bear or a horse or some big animal that's standing by a tree out at night instead of sleep. That was where my brain went. Kind of just sat there and looked out the window and watched it for a while. And then my friend, who was so like aggro that there was something following us from the horse trailer, also looked out the window and then freaked at the shadow. So the conclusion is, I was like, it's just a shadow. It's probably a big animal. Let's just go to bed, and when we wake up in the morning, all of this will be over. We did that. We woke up in the morning. She remembered the shadow and I remembered the shadow, but it only lasted at that. So it just lasted at that like spine tingling feeling of someone's watching you, or you're being watched or followed, that type of stuff, and a shadow figure. That's all we saw. At this point, I assume it's either a shadow figure or it's still an animal. Don't know. I don't live there anymore. I never really got to like test that theory out before it was too late. Story, because I don't want this video to get too long, so we're gonna keep going. The next story is the full version of the lady in the painting. I already told part of it, but I'm gonna tell you more. So you already know from the point of me seeing her in the library, in the painting, and seeing her walk past the window of the study room and her being in my bath. The woman in the painting was in my bathtub that night. After I saw that, I freaked out a little bit. On the inside, I didn't like physically freak out because I didn't want to wake up my roommates. I saw her, I freaked out a little bit. Dark, we're just gonna go finish getting ready for bed and go to bed. And when we wake up in the morning, it's not gonna be like this. We're not gonna remember it. I finished getting ready for bed. I went back into my room with my roommate. I went into bed and I went to sleep. And then the next day I woke up, I went to class, did all my normal things I did at school. And then when I came back mid-afternoon, late afternoon, I hung out for a little bit, hearing weird noises, and I knew all of my roommates slash suite mates were not in the room anymore. They were doing their own things because we all had different schedules. One of them was doing theater. Actually, two of them were doing theater and one of them was a scientist, so she was always like, you know, doing labs or whatnot. I knew I was alone, but I kept hearing like weird tapping, like noises or like knocking, like rapping like that. Yeah, it was really weird. And so I kept like opening the door to see and no one was there. No one was there. And the man in the mask and my roommates. Yes. But also that night it got really weird because the man in the mask, he was partially possessed twice. And if you don't know what that is when somebody changes how they're acting to something completely different because a demon or a dark entity has taken over. I'm not saying it's a demon. It could be anything, really. There are many reasons why it could have happened. What I'm going with to make it easier is he was partially possessed because he went from being like the nicest person to a complete and utter disaster. It was chaos. It wasn't fully, obviously it wasn't him. He wasn't trying to do it. He didn't hurt me or anything. It's just more he kind of like scared me. There was 2 times when I was like crowded into like a wall or the corner in a stairwell because he was slightly like chaotic at the moment in the brain. But he didn't hurt me. He just scared me. It scared me a little bit too much and I started crying, but I never got hurt. He apologized afterwards. So basically, after I saw that lady in the painting, my life spiraled out of control. I was constantly hearing things, seeing things, experiencing things, feeling things. Things trying to contact me. I got scratched a few times. I don't have any images of the scratches. I looked like I was dying, and it wasn't just because I was stressed out for being a college student. Only way we got rid of it was basically me and a few of my other friends who are believers. Demon. I'm calling it a demon. I don't know if it was a demon. It could have just been a dark entity. We trapped it back in the painting, and that's where it stayed. The funny thing is no longer in that room. It is now in storage. They have not taken the painting out of storage since the paranormal group that was on campus did their investigation of the library and got scratched. One of them got scratched. I don't know who. I'm not saying names, obviously, because it's not my story to tell. But one of them got scratched, and painting has not been in that room since. Yeah. So the last story is going to be short because this is already at 15 minutes. I don't want this video to be like an hour long because I don't think anyone's gonna sit through an hour long video. Maybe. If you do want a longer version of the stories, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll make an hour-long video. But for this, it's going to be easier if I don't make an hour-long video. So the last story is not mine. It is a friend of mine, but she has given me permission to tell the story. But I will not be, she will remain anonymous. You can know her gender, that's about it. But I'm not going to say name. So my friend Cleo. So we're going to call my friend who wants to be anonymous Cleo, so that I can tell the story with a name, but it's not her real name. So Cleo. Cleo was at I think she was at her dad's house when this happened, and we're gonna call her dad Steve. So Cleo was at her dad's house, or Steve's house. She was in her bedroom alone. She wasn't with anyone. We just got off FaceTime because we were FaceTiming, and she was sitting there. She told me the story afterwards, so if I'm a little mistaken, that's why. I wasn't there, so I don't really know the full extent to the story. But she was sitting in her room. She was finishing up like the last little thing of, I think, work or whatnot she was doing. She saw someone at her window. She thought it was her brother. We're gonna call him Jake. So Jake, she thought she saw Jake walk past her window, which happens a lot. He would go outside and like just wander into the back. They like live in a place that kind of has like forest behind them. Jake would sometimes wander into the forest. He's her older brother. She then had, she wasn't sure if it was Jake because the figure she saw kind of looked like a woman. She said that she kind of, when she described it, she described me as if I was walking by her window. We don't live close together. I don't live anywhere near Cleo, so I couldn't, don't worry, her name doesn't start with a C. I don't live anywhere near Cleo, so it wasn't me, but she described me, which was the weirdest thing. And if you've heard of doppelgangers, you know that they're, apparently everyone has one, but if you were to see your own, that means you're going to kick the bucket soon. I have to use other analogies for the D word because YouTube kept swearing that she saw me outside her window, and I was like, I'm not pranking you, I'm not there. After a little bit of saying that it was me, she then went to Jake, her brother's room. His name also does not actually start with a J, so to ask him if he was this story happened a long time ago, so just to preference it, he wasn't in his room, so she went to find her dad to ask him where her brother was. Her dad said that he was at a friend's house, that he wouldn't be home till tomorrow. So she started really freaking out, and then this is when she FaceTimed me to tell me, yeah, this happened like 4 years ago. So she, to this day, basically thinks that she saw a shadow person or my doppelganger, which is a good thing that I didn't see it because that means I am nowhere near close to kicking the bucket. Apparently, that's a legend. We don't really know if that's true or not. It's not proven in the paranormal activity / paranormal community. I'm not super into the paranormal community just because I'm not like a professional investigator or anything. The only thing that I could say that I am for sure is a medium, but I don't work with any like investigation teams or anything like that. I do like, you know, small little seances and stuff for people who are missing like loved ones and stuff like that. That's mostly what I do. Or I do tarot card readings, stuff like that. If you ever want to learn how to do a tarot card reading, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll make a video on it. Or we can react to different types of tarot cards for a horror reacts. I don't know, leave it in the comments. Anyways, those are all the stories. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Horror Reacts. I know it's not like your true reaction. It's just me telling you some stories. Because I didn't really have anything to react to. As I said, the one video that got commented down below, I was assuming it was for Horror Reacts. I've seen it already, so I don't feel like it would be like a genuine reaction. It would just be kind of a reaction I had the first time I saw it. So I want to react to things that I haven't seen, but I'll let you know if I haven't seen it or not before I react to it, just so that you're not like, why didn't you react to the thing I sent you? Because I don't want that. I don't want any confusion. I'll let you know if I've seen it or not. So episode 2 will definitely be more of a reaction thing. I am not sure what I'm reacting to yet. If you have any ideas, comment down below. So yeah, that was Horror Reacts. If you would like to become a little psycho, hit the subscribe button down below or on the end screen. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified. Don't forget to leave a like or a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Dark.